Our next speaker really doesn't need much of an introduction. He's the love man. I'd like to have Mike King come forward, and he has a presidential address to do. Michael?
Well, this morning, what I'd like to do is to share a couple of activities and recent successes that have happened really just in the first few months of this year that we haven't had a chance to share with you yet. And the theme that you're going to see running through this is the fact that we're expanding our influence by working together so well. It is truly a collective activity. It is not a national activity or a local activity. It is a collective activity. And because of that, our influence and our impact is dramatically increased. And you're really the reason for that. You're absolutely the reason for that. This past year, we had already scheduled a national board meeting in Washington, D.C., because we knew there was going to be a transition in government because of having an election already scheduled. Well, we had no idea how big of a transition that was going to be. Major transition. No one had really any idea. It surprised everybody. And so suddenly we had a lot of work to do because we knew that we needed to communicate our story to a brand new audience, essentially. A brand new audience. The government is a major customer of ours, if you will. They provide around 65% of funding based on what set of books you're looking at. Major customer for us. We needed to tell our story, and as we scheduled that national board meeting, suddenly things started happening as far as our field pulling together around that. Number one thing that happened was then our church governing board scheduled its board meeting also the same week as our national board meeting. Then the regional CEOs from around the country scheduled their meeting to be in D.C. also on that same week. And suddenly we had an entire week scheduled in Washington, D.C. with every aspect of leadership from our organization coming together to unite to tell the story of our services. And whether we thought they were in danger or not, we were going to tell that story. We were going to let folks know, because I honestly believe folks aren't trying to sometimes pass legislation that's going to diminish services or diminish what we do. Sometimes they just don't realize what the outcome of that's going to be, how that's going to roll out. And so it's our job. It is our job to communicate that, frankly, in a nonpartisan way and in a humanistic way, and let them know here's the impact that will have, and let's go after that. So collectively, that's what happened. The major issues that we dealt with that week were the charitable tax deduction first. That's especially a complex one that sometimes folks don't understand the impact that's going to have on charitable giving, which would hurt everybody, folks they don't want to hurt. Health care, obviously, affordable housing, low-income tax credits. Our day started with a briefing by our good friend David Gregory, formerly of Meet the Press, now with CNN and doing independent work. He was magnificent. He's recently written a book profiling his own faith journey in the Jewish faith. As a Jewish man, he was a perfect match for us in sort of giving us our briefing that morning on Capitol Hill. And I have to tell you, just as we were taking that picture, I told him, David, you're now our second most favorite Jew. And yeah. You have to think about that one a little bit. Just check and see if you're awake. And he is truly a best friend of Volunteers of America. He is wonderful for us, and does it. And frankly, he's been doing it gratis most times. I mean, truly doing it gratis, and that never happens today in today's world with media personalities. Went on from there to having the most organized set of visits that day on Capitol Hill with our folks working together from both national staff and local affiliates and local board members and national board members, assigned by geography, going office to office to office, meeting with representatives. It was incredibly impressive, very informed. Preparation had happened before leading up to this, and this is where it is really thanks to Jatrice Martel Gator and her staff, Sarah and Michael and all the folks, and Norma, our lobbyist, organizing ahead of time, doing a webinar ahead of time for folks to sort of get briefed on these issues, sharing the white papers, and then including follow-up to this going forward. Even a webinar just a couple of weeks ago as far as follow-up on the tax policy. Just so you know, we are continuing to monitor that. This is just the first step. Okay, this is just the first step. What we really see happening from this is, number one, we're having influence. We had influence before. The nonprofit sector has united around this, okay, more than I've ever seen them united. It's something we've got to continue doing. We've got to recognize that working in this fashion, with this incredibly wonderful high trust level that we have among all of us, because we are all on the same team and working together in this way, realizing that we can have this kind of impact, it means that we need to do this more. We need to have you guys come to Washington more. We need to be in personal visits in front of our representatives more. And then the follow-up at home, having you guys being in front of your representatives in their home districts more. That's what's going to make this happen for us. That's what's going to enable us to take this forward to another level. And it's actually what is happening. And I believe we're going to win all of this. I don't think the end is near. I think it's just the opposite. I think we've seen a new era emerge in our own organization. We're working together in a more cohesive fashion than maybe we've ever done. And that was my observation to my board of directors at the end of that week was, I thought I was watching a team builder when I watched us work that day. It was a team builder for us. I'd never seen us work that well together. And we always worked well together, but this was like a fine-tuned machine, supported by staff support, but at the same time, participation across the board, absolutely across the board. So I don't want us to think that we are this nonprofit without any power, without any influence. No, 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 no. That's not the case. That is simply not the case. You are a mobilized effort representing America's most vulnerable. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't want to have it placed in anybody else's hands besides you, anyone else's hands besides you. It's made a big believer in me that we can take this to another level, really another level. So that's what we have started. That's what has begun this year. Sometimes out of perceived crisis, things like this emerge. It emerged for us. It absolutely emerged for us. So let's keep that going. Let's keep that communication going. Let's keep each other in the loop about things that are happening in our own districts and things that we need to be responsive to in Washington. Let's keep that communication going actively, actively, actively for us. Another thing to share with you, about 10 months ago, when we had our last annual conference, it wasn't 12 months ago, it was 10 months ago, as our folks well know. You heard us talk about the moral injury initiative, and for those who aren't familiar with the term, moral injury is the damage done to one's conscience or moral compass when that person perpetrates, witnesses, or fails to prevent acts that transgress their own moral and ethical values or codes of conduct. Those of you who have been with us for a while know that we've been dramatically involved in this for the last couple of years, moving this study and this work forward. At the last national conference, we had just completed 4 national convenings for dialogues about the topic of moral injury and lifting that up and how can we do more to treat this, to get better outcomes, reduce veteran suicides, as well as the fact that it impacts other folks in our other programs as well. Again, this was in the same way that the Capitol Hill Day was. It was an effort of communication and cooperation between local and national, all parties in each of the cities of New York, Washington, D.C., L.A., and Chicago, where we held the convenings. And then out of that, literally out of that, specifically in the New York convening, suddenly a group called Veterans from Wall Street contacted us. Shortly after that, they were represented there that day. Worked with Terry Pettit, our wonderful CEO in New York, who can't be here today, but is with us in spirit. She helped connect us then with a group out of Bristol Myers Squibb Foundation who took an interest in this. Suddenly, conversations began between Dr. Rita Brock and Dr. John Sharon and myself, supported by our wonderful staff, and of course the efforts of Jatrice again, and Margaret and Barbara from the content side. And after a lot of conversations, we got just about 10 days ago an email from our contact there at Bristol Myers Squibb that they intend to recommend to the board of Bristol Myers Squibb a funding of about a $900,000 research project to Volunteers of America to be the first research project on moral injury in history. This would have never happened without all of us. You know, this is all of us. We could have never seen this happen. And I have to tell you, we're not going to sit on it. Okay? We are not going to sit on it. What we want to do then is to take that and stimulate it to have more funding. Okay, begin looking already for more dollars, for more local communities to enable us to have more local sites, pilot sites, demonstrating these new methodologies, okay, around the country. And of course, all these funders live somewhere, right? They all live somewhere. They don't live in Washington, D.C. They live somewhere. We need your help in this. We need your support in this. And then these dollars come right back to you, okay, to fund local demonstration projects around the country. And that is our absolute express goal, is to take this momentum and stimulate it where we have other companies, other entities, other foundations wanting to hop on this bandwagon, because we are the first to literally create a virtual moral injury healing and research center to do this work, to find better ways to serve these folks who are suffering from this extreme moral crisis that then manifests itself in dysfunctional behavior that hurts everyone, hurts themselves, hurts their families, hurts everyone. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to save lives with this. And you know what? If we just save one, it's been worth every bit of the effort we've put into this for the last 2 years. Every single bit of it. Now, in addition to this, we have another nice announcement to make, and that is, you'll all know Dr. Rita Nakashima Brock has been a part of our family for a while in spirit. Well, as of the 1st of July, she becomes our Senior VP of Moral Injury for Volunteers of America. And so stand up. Rita, I know you're out there somewhere, so stand up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There you are, there you are. Welcome, welcome. We had a serious meeting at the Starbucks in Midlothian or wherever we were, off some little Texas highway just about 2 weeks ago, and she's already got tons of ideas and tons of contacts of other folks with other foundations, other funders we're going to be taking this to. So we are ready to hit the road with this. We need your help. If you want something to happen in your community and you think you've got a contact that will work with this, that's exactly how all this got started. That's precisely how all this got started. And so thanks to all of you for that. Also, thanks to folks who were already doing these kinds of programs, already testing it, like in Chicago. Thank you for doing this. This is what got this going, is this kind of energy. We think we can make this happen, and we're going to make it happen. Now, tomorrow, you have the opportunity to see what my good friend Mike Wan shared with you. Know that even if you haven't already arranged to be on the buses to go over there to take a gander at this wonderful spectacle where Volunteers of America's name is plastered everywhere. I don't know about you guys, but I just get off on seeing that. Okay, I do. I'm okay. I am a geek when it comes to that. I like to see our name on anything. I don't care what it is. I love seeing it, you know, and you will love seeing it. It just kind of pumps you up and makes you think, you know what? We're the real deal. We are the real deal. So you deserve to get to feel that way. That's why I wanted us to do this. That's why I wanted us to put the conference together with the tournament, so our people who are in the trenches every day would get to feel that sense of recognition and acknowledgement and sense that as they walk those grounds. You're not more than about a 15-minute Uber ride from the golf course from here. So even if you haven't made a reservation and you're not on the bus, you might still be able to get on the bus, but even if not, you can Uber it over there. Please go by there and take a look at it before you go to the airport to catch your flight. You need the chance to do that. And at the same time, I'm going to ask you to do something. You know, you're the best representative we have of our brand. You're the best representative there is, much better than me. You're actually still in the trenches. I'm a paper pusher now. You're in the trenches. I wish you would go over there and walk around and thank people. Thank the players for coming and playing it. We have the strongest field this week of any non-major LPGA tournament of the year. Strongest field right here this week at our tournament. Yeah, you bet you applaud. You bet. I hope you'll walk around, thank the players, thank the sponsors, thank the volunteers for being a part of this. Thank them for supporting Volunteers of America. And then at the same time, take pride in it. Take pride in this because you own it. You own this. I don't own it. You own it. You're the service giver. You're the caregiver. This is your tournament. This is your tournament. So go over there and enjoy it. Take pride in it, and then represent us well, because you do every time, every single time. You know, and that kind of gets me into the real heart of this, and that is the fact that, you know, you're the best ambassador we have. Our 16,000 member family and volunteers and board members, you're the best ambassadors we have of our brand. And the reason is because of the love you share and that you exhibit for your clients. You're the ones that gave me the idea that we're in the love business. I mean, I didn't dream that up one night. You gave me that idea when I would go to the affiliates and I would see that look in your eyes. And I always knew when I was in one of our affiliates or in one of our programs or at one of our service sites from the look in your eyes. Well, that look that you had was the love in your eyes, the love in your eyes for our clients. And that's what was so apparent. And it's that love that you have that I try to represent, do my best to represent, whether it's on Capitol Hill or in a group home in Baton Rouge or at an LPJ Partners meeting in Florida, is to represent the love that you share each and every day with America's most vulnerable. And literally, it's that love that changes lives. It's that love that does that. And the reason why it's so impactful, I think, and I really just kind of got a handle on this in the last few weeks, is because with you, it's personal. That love, it's personal with you. It's not arbitrary. It's not a thought or an idea. It's personal. And I'll give you a few examples. The wonderful lady that you met yesterday, our vice chair of our board, Ruby Noble from Louisiana. Well, she will tell you this, but I know for a fact that with Ruby, she's committed to us and has been committed to this. And I tell people this is why I really begged her to come back on our board, because I want her to be our board chair someday. I want a chance to work with her, because she started this years ago because her brother, she had a brother with severe mental illness, couldn't find services, and became an advocate for those services through Volunteers of America. And so for Ruby, it's personal. It's absolutely personal. Our board chair, who couldn't be with us today because he's chairing another board today, literally, Dick Kavanaugh, he didn't tell me this till I'd known him for about 4 or 5 years, until I saw a picture on his desk at his office in Boston. He had a brother with severe cerebral palsy. And my first job was working with United Cerebral Palsy. I know what that is. I know what that represents. Severe CP. There wasn't a group home. There weren't group home services at that point in time. And so he wanted to unburden his parents, because we all know what that means as parents. He wanted to unburden his parents, so he created a group home for his brother. And you can bet the reason why he is so good to us and so committed to us when he serves on boards that pay him to be chairman of their board, okay? With Dick Kavanaugh, it's personal. It's personal. He won't always tell us that, but it is. My good friend and colleague right here, Wallace Davis, most committed minister I know. I hope someday I'll be half as good a minister as Wallace Davis is, half as good a person as Wallace Davis is. He's created the finest group home network in America. And I know for a fact that he's inspired by his sister who has special needs and challenges. And from that love, from that inspiration, he's given back and set a model that all of us can copy. Well, I can tell you what, I don't know a lot about his sister, but I know she's got the best brother there ever was. She's got the best brother that ever was. That love, that fact that it's so personal with Wallace, inspires me. It inspires me. Another colleague and friend that we've already mentioned this morning, our good friend Terry Pettit from New York. Many of you know who know her well. She and her husband have spent the last several years caring for not just one parent in their home, 2 parents in their home, both mothers, both of the mothers, the husband's mother and the wife's mother, Terry and her husband's mother, caring for them in their home every day for the last several years until just recently, when they both got to the place where they really needed to go into assisted living facilities. But they have done that for years and years and years, and Terry is a specialist. She's a specialist in skilled nursing care and hospital care. She comes out of that field. You know, with Terry Pettit, it's personal. It's absolutely personal. The last example I'm going to give you is from a text, and if you bear with me, I'm going to read you a text I got a few days ago. Dad, love you. Hope you're having a good start to the week. Sorry to text so late, but I just got home from a meeting. I wore my black Volunteers of America polo and shared from the podium. It was a small meeting, and the lady sharing right after me recognized my shirt and shared about sobering up in San Diego through Volunteers of America, saved her life, brought her to AA, and how she is still in daily contact with a confidant assigned to her early on by VOA. It was really cool. Told her my dad was CEO and that her story was amazing and that the organization is doing and has done so many great things. It was such a great meeting. Love you so much. Take care. Safe travels. Catch up soon. Oh, added bonus, I had a Costco filet for dinner. Keep on rocking in the free world. Love, Justin. It's personal. You know, it's personal. It's personal for all of us. It's what makes our work special. It's what makes each of you special. I have to tell you that it's an honor to serve with you. I love you, and I thank you for bringing your love into this world. Bless you.